When you hear a person cry out for help, what's your first instinct? To move toward the sound, right? It's an instinct. It's the thing that makes us human, but it's also the one thing a certain kind of person knows how to use against you, because that instinct can switch off the part of your brain that's supposed to keep you safe. The three people in these stories all heard someone who needed help and figured out, a little too late, that this instinct was being used against them. Story 1. I was driving home from a late shift around 1 in the morning on this long, quiet road that cuts through farmland on the edge of town. There were no street lights and no other cars. It was just my headlights and a whole lot of dark on either side. And then, over the sound of the engine, I hear it. A voice. Someone shouting from the darkness off to the right, near the tree line. "Help, please! Somebody help me!" I hit the brakes without even thinking about it. My first thought is that there's been an accident, that maybe a car went off the road and someone's hurt out in the field. So I pull onto the shoulder, leave my engine running and my lights on, and I get out. The shouting keeps going while I'm standing there by my car. But here's the thing that started to bother me. I couldn't tell where it was coming from. 1 second, it sounded like it was straight ahead in the trees. The next, it sounded further down the road. I called out, asked where they were, and if they were okay. The voice didn't answer me. It just kept calling for help. The exact same words, over and over, like it wasn't really listening to me at all. I took a few steps toward the tree line, and that's when the feeling hit me. The one in your gut that tells you something is wrong before your brain can explain why. There was no crashed car, no person anywhere, just a voice in the dark calling for help from a spot where there was clearly nobody to be seen. I backed up, got in my car, locked the doors, and I'll be honest, I felt stupid doing it. But as I pulled away and looked in my mirror, I watched 2 figures step out of the trees, right by the spot where I'd been parked, and just stand there in the road watching me go. I don't know for sure what they wanted. I've got a pretty good idea. I just know the person crying for help was never out there at all, and I think about that every single time I drive that road now. Story 2. I live alone in a quiet suburban street, the kind where everyone's asleep by 11. So when somebody started banging on my front door close to midnight, it scared the life out of me. I went to the door and there was a woman out there, maybe 30, no coat, looking absolutely panicked. She said her car had broken down up the road and her phone was dead, and she was crying, saying she just needed to come in and call someone to pick her up. My heart went out to her straight away. I almost opened the door right then, but something made me stop with my hand on the lock. A few small things, actually. For one, I hadn't heard a car. No engine, no doors, nothing. And her broken-down car was supposed to be right up the road. For another, she kept glancing back over her shoulder toward the street while she talked, like she was checking on something behind her. And when I looked past her, I could just make out a vehicle parked a few houses down with its lights off and someone sitting inside it. So instead of opening the door, I talked to her through it. I told her I wasn't going to let her in, but that I'd happily call the police and an ambulance right now, and she was welcome to wait on the porch until they came. And the second I said the word police, her whole face changed. The crying stopped. She went quiet, took a step back, and then she just turned and walked away, fast, straight toward that car down the street. It pulled off before she even reached it. I called the police anyway and told them what happened. The officer didn't sound surprised at all. He said there'd been a few reports in the area of a woman using exactly that story. The broken down car, the dead phone, the tears, to get people to open their doors late at night. I still feel a little guilty for turning away someone who might have been in real trouble. But every time I do, I remember that car pulling away, and I'm very glad I kept that door shut. Story 3. I'm the night maintenance supervisor for a big building that's closed for renovation. So for a few months, it's just me and a couple of guys doing rounds through an empty shell of a place all night. It's dark, it echoes, and you get used to strange little noises. But one night, I heard something I couldn't explain away. It was a voice, faint, coming from somewhere deep in the building, calling out for help. We were the only people who were supposed to be in there. So my first thought was that one of my guys had hurt himself, fallen off a ladder or something. I grabbed my radio and my flashlight and headed toward the sound. But when I called my team on the radio, every one of them answered. All fine, all accounted for. Nowhere near where the voice was coming from. And the voice kept going. I followed it down a back stairwell into the lower level, and it stayed just ahead of me the whole way, always around the next corner, always a little further in. I never got any closer to it. My heart was pounding by then. I'm telling myself it's an echo, a trick of the building, but I don't believe it. And then it hit me. The voice was pulling me deeper inside, into the far corner, as far from the main entrance as you could possibly get. That's when I heard it. Behind me, back toward the loading bay I'd just walked away from, the sound of metal scraping and something heavy being dragged. I turned and got back there as fast as I could, and the big roller door was wide open. Somebody had forced it. Whoever they were, they'd used that cry for help to walk me to the wrong end of the building while they got in and started stripping out copper and equipment. They were gone by the time I made it back, and so was a load of expensive gear. The police said it was a clever job, that the people who pull this kind of theft will do anything to draw security away. And they were right. It was clever. But what bothers me isn't the stuff they took. It's knowing that while I was wandering around in the dark, trying to save a stranger who needed help, there were people moving through that same building right alongside me, calm and quiet, using the best part of me to rob the place blind. Are you careful when you help strangers? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe while you're there.